ReCamMaster is an AI video generator that takes in footage and gives you different camera angles of the same footage, which is absolutely amazing. They said the purpose of ReCamMaster is to recapture in-while videos with novel camera trajectories. Check it out. As you've seen that video there, you've seen that they're taking real world shows and movies like The Joker or La La Land and able to generate different camera angles of the same video, which is amazing because this could cut down on things like reshooting or things like stabilizing shaky camera footage. This can definitely help when you're an independent filmmaker or even an experienced filmmaker for budget constraints. You can really do a lot more with a lot less. As you see in these demos, you see this is more of an arc trajectory where the camera moves in more of an arc style, but even though there's a different camera angle, it still is generating the video as if it was originally filmed like this. This one is more of a translation up trajectory where it is a slow pan above the person. This one right here is a translation down trajectory where it moves below the video footage, and it's actually pretty good. As you see in these videos, you see that the guy in the arc trajectory is able to pan from middle to left, but it's still able to keep the camera angle, as you see. And this looks like a video game footage where it's Recam, and you see that they're able to pan and almost zoom into the beard, but it still looks pretty consistent. You even see the shows and the movies here where they're all just panning from one side to another. Even look in the movie The Matrix where you see Neo doing the bullet time sequence where he's dodging bullets. He's able to make another angle where it's a little bit to the left. Even the trajectory up, you see like the Spider-Man, he's on the peak. You see it's able to pan above, even with the guy panning the dog. But it's all still consistent. You still see the guy, the hair, the hands, and everything. It's still in line with everything that's going on. Even in Titanic, as you see that they're panning around and even zooming in a little bit. This is pretty good, and it even did really well with the avatar, and that's a really big feat because it's a lot of characters in that one scene. There's a lot of different avatars, I guess, or the alien people holding on to this one person. And it's a translation down trajectory where you see they have Trump dancing and panning down, also Thanos and people from La La Land dancing, and you see it's a pan down. But you see even with Wonder Woman, they're still panning down and it's still pretty consistent. It's not any type of blurring there. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of time per footage. There's only a few seconds, but to be this consistent is pretty good. Also, you see it doesn't even work just in any type of style. You can even do like animations where you see they did Into the Spider-Verse with Spider-Man where they're sitting next to each other. They was even able to pan down with that. But even you see with this person laying down in the grass and you see the sprinklers going off, it's able to still do the sprinklers pretty decently. It seems like it's a little bit of some type of freaking out with the sprinklers in the back, but it still did pretty good. Even the pan trajectories, they're doing it with like Joker, Wukong, and these have to be recent if they're using Wukong for this. Even like Spider-Man, these pans are really good to the point where even in Iron Man, you don't even see Spider-Man in the shot anymore because of the pan. They totally took him out, and the camera understood that with that pan, you wouldn't have Spider-Man in the shot anymore. They even have like different tilt trajectories where the camera's being tilted in one direction or another. You see that in The Pursuit of Happiness over there. You see that in Wolf of Wall Street, and even with Michael Jackson in his music video. These are all pretty good. They even have a zoom in and out trajectory where of course you zoom in, you're making the person in the video bigger. But you see that they do it in different art styles where you see it in like the video game Spider-Man, as well as you see Into the Spider-Verse Spider-Man, where they're panning and zooming in. They're doing like shows from The Great Gatsby and Tony Stark and Iron Man, but they're also doing like shows, and I think that's Friends, I believe. They said they even did like a more complex one where they have like a person who's like down the side of a building and they're still able to get the positions right when they're posing. Even like things like in Breaking Bad where it's like objects being flown and thrown up in the air and like there's like scenery going on, more action. Like it was this lady who was like some cigarette and somebody trying to like her cigarette. But they even have like applications they were saying like that, and they use like the Black Myth Wukong and Wonder Woman. But they're all using it and using their environment, and you see how the camera is just panning all over the place, but they're still picking it up pretty good. It doesn't just stop there. They also have like footage that is being stabilized by the AI, by ReCamMaster. You see in this video, it's kind of shaky, but in the video where they run it through ReCamMaster, they can just stabilize it. So if you're like an amateur, you don't have like the best stabilization on your phone, or you don't have a gimbal, you can put this amateur footage in there and you could, well, stabilize it and make it look a lot clearer, a lot easier to read. Even like with cooking videos of this robot cooking and putting things on the stove, you see there's different just camera angles. So it gives you a lot of ways, and a wide variety of ways for you to see things. They even have one where it's autonomous vehicle driving, where they have discovered that Recam demonstrates promising generations capabilities in autonomous driving scenarios, where like this could be a good training data for them to train on in real world scenarios using this new Recam, so it'll show different perspectives. Here are some comparisons of Recam, DAS, and against projection attention and GCD. They even went up with frame dim, view dim, channel dim, and then just the source. I think these are all pretty good video generations that were made by Recam, and it's a good use case for this. It almost reminds me of like how in the future they had those CIS people who could like data. If you ever play like Becomes Human, where the robot could kind of like scenarios or see how it plays out in different angles based on the data that you have, this is kind of like how it would be, where it could kind of angle with a different angle or see it in a different perspective in their heads, but you can see it in the video game. I think this is pretty cool. And I think this is going to be even better, especially if they can create like long narrations. And maybe, who knows, maybe you can just keep on feeding the same scene in there each time, and it'll just be a long generation because you just keep on getting like taking clips and you can just put them all together. I think this is going to be like a great AI, and I can't really wait to get my hands on it. They say that it's on GitHub if you want to try it now, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be on Hugging Face pretty soon. But if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest AI news, you should definitely like and subscribe. With that being said, your boy Dexter out.